Hi everybody, it's me Sarah. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to my new yoga space. So I'm still trying to figure out like the best way to record in here. Um, my last video was a little bit different, so just bear with me as I'm trying to get a little bit of my tech side of things figured out. But for today, we're going to be doing a nice morning practice. And this practice is going to really help you wake up, boost your energy, give you a full body stretch. And we're going to be really focusing on side bends, which are very nice in the morning, as well as strengthening in through the glutes and the legs to help you just get a little bit energized, a little bit of strengthening in before we start our day. So, with all that said, let's go ahead and get started laying down on our backs. And just begin by placing the feet nice and wide, so as wide as your yoga mat. And as you relax the hips and relax the shoulders and the back of the head into the mat, ground those feet and just let the knees fall over to the right. Good. So we're getting a nice quad stretch through the right side. Be sure to flex those feet to protect the knees. And if this is too much on the knees, you can roll all the way to the left side and just take a little quad stretch on your side. Begin to breathe down into your belly. You can have your hands resting on your torso or maybe reaching them up overhead. Feeling length all the way through the psoas on that right side, through the hip flexor. Take one more deep breath here. And then we're going to lift the knees up and go ahead and let the knees fall to the right. The other side, flexing those feet. And just feeling that opening all the way from the left oblique, the left side of the waist, through the left hip flexor, down into the outer left quad. You might even feel this into your IT band. We're going to be doing a lot of strengthening with the legs, so just starting to open up. Take one more deep breath here. And bring the knees back up to center. Awesome. We're going to come into a variation of bridge pose. So we're going to do a wide-legged bridge. So you can keep your feet as they are, or it might feel good to like open out the toes a little bit externally. But either way, what we want to do is really squeeze the outer glutes as well as the hamstrings and lift up into a bridge. Think about pushing your knees forward to the top of your mat. And you might feel that you can have a little more space through the front body in this wide-legged bridge. It gives our hip flexors a little more room to really open up through the front body while energizing, starting to wake up the muscles of the legs of the back body. Notice if your knees dropped in and think about pressing into the outer edges of the feet. And then notice if you lost your breath, take a big inhale in and exhale. Keep holding. Try to look up to the sky so we're not tensing the front of the neck. And slowly release. Awesome job. Heel toe your feet into hip width distance, and we'll just take figure four, so crossing your ankle over your thigh and just pulling it in. So we're taking our nice pigeon on our back, and I like to rock side to side, especially in the morning, just to notice where you might be feeling tension in your body this morning. Good, let's place that foot down and go ahead and switch sides so the other ankle crosses over the thigh and we reach through for your pigeon stretch. Flexing the feet, energizing the feet, and rocking side to side. Awesome. Let's uncross the leg. And optional here, we're going to rock and roll up to seated just to get a nice massage on the spine. But if that's too much for you this morning, you'll know. And so you can just roll over to one side and push yourself up. Otherwise, getting a nice massage through the whole spine and starting to wake up those deep core muscles in the lower abs to scoop. So there's no bumpy point through the low back. This is a good thing to help us wake up. Okay, the next time you come up, go ahead and cross your legs, or you can come to a kneeling position for this. We're going to take a little bit of a cat-cow here in our seated position, but first we're going to reach the arms up, and go ahead and bring the hands to touch. Good, then we're going to let the hands come to the back of the neck, so getting a nice tricep stretch here. So sitting up nice and tall. Think about your elbows pushing up to the sky, so we're getting rid of that curve through the upper back that might have been happening while we're sleeping. And then from here, you're going to interlace your fingers and take your elbows wide now. And I like to kind of press my head back into my hands, so we have a nice cradle for the head. We're going to inhale, open the elbows, open the chest, maybe gaze up. And exhale, round through, scoop the belly, and maybe a slight pull on the head with the hands. Elbows come together. Inhale, expand. And exhale to curl. Take a couple more with your own breath. Maybe you find a little bit of that inner joy as you open up. You might feel that your upper back is super tight in the morning. That's totally normal. Good. Next one, we're going to release the left hand to the ground and side bend over to the left. Good. Keep your right hand on your head. You might crawl those fingers around towards the left ear and imagine you're holding your head with your right hand. Don't just imagine. Actually hold your head with your right hand, supporting the neck. Big side body stretch. Inhale back up through center. And we'll switch sides. Exhale the other way. Right hand plants down. Left hand is just cradling the head, supporting the head, so the neck can be nice and relaxed. Root down through those hips, big side body stretch. And coming back up to this position. Good. From here, we're going to release the left hand down. This time, go ahead and bring your hand around your head so it's right by your temple. You might give yourself a little temple massage. We're just going to let the weight of the hand just relax the head over. Big stretch in the side of the neck here. Good. And we'll just take that on the other side. So your hand comes around and the weight of the hand just slightly relaxing the neck over. Big stretch. Beautiful. Coming back to center, you might take a couple shoulder rolls, little movement in the neck. And when you're ready, we're going to come to tabletop. And to start, we already did our cat and cow motion. Just go ahead and take some hip circles. Getting into those hip joints, feeling the femur bone roll around in the ball and socket joint. You can let your spine get involved as well. Beautiful. When you're ready, find a nice neutral tabletop and ground down through both hands. We're going to start to take knee circles now with the left knee. So circling that left knee, keeping the shoulders nice and grounded, nice and still. Opening up, and again, we're strengthening those glutes, those hamstrings today. So feel the work, the energizing through the glutes, and let's go ahead and reverse the circle. Think about the knee as making the circle, so the foot's going to go along for the ride. Try to keep the hips level and moving that femur bone inside that range of motion of the hip. Awesome. Good. Now we're going to stretch the leg out behind us and place those toes down on the mat. You can kind of rock forward and back, pushing into that Achilles. And then when you're ready, turn the right shin, plant the right hand, and reach the left arm up and forward to the top of the mat. Good. You can stay in this side bend or make it into a little back bend by pushing the hips forward and reaching the left arm back. Good, so you squeezing those glutes to push the hips forward. Maybe you bend the left elbow for a nice cactus arm. And coming back to center. Good, ground the left foot. We're going to come up to stand on that right knee and stretch all the way to the back of the mat. Nice gate pose. One of my favorite stretches to take in the morning. Keep dropping the tailbone down. Inhale back up to center. We're going to replant this right hand down, but this time, and don't let yourself go into the back bend. We're going to keep it nice and contained in the front body, almost like you're doing side plank. So plant that right hand down, engage the front of the core, and let's bring the left hand to the left hip. So finding that neutral spine, we're going to take some leg lifts with this left leg, up and down. So we're strengthening the left glute. Lifting it however high works for you today. And let's take 3 more. You might feel your heart rate is starting to go up, so just keep up with that nice breathing that we found. Awesome. From here, we're going to turn back to center, rotate on that right knee, and let's step that left foot all the way outside of those hands. So coming into a lizard lunge just to stretch out this left glute that we just worked. So you can externally rotate that left foot and sink down in those hips. Option to add a twist, left hand to the left thigh, rotating up and to the left. You might get a good morning crack of your back. Awesome. Let's come back to center. And this time we're going to heel toe the foot to center for Anjaneyasana low lunge. So it's nice and set up hip width distance. Same thing, we're going to inhale, lift the arms up and let those palms come to touch. Bend the elbows and once again into that tricep stretch. This is a nice active tricep stretch here. Good, interlace the hands and then let the elbows come wide. We're going to take another cat and cow, but here in our high lunge, or low lunge. We're going to inhale, expand, lift the gaze, feel the hips sinking forward. Then exhale, you're going to scoop the belly and you're going to press into the left heel. So you're coming out of your low lunge a little bit and dropping the head. Think about tucking the tailbone and rooting through that front foot. So once you got a hang of it, try to flow with your breath. Inhale, expand, sink down. Exhale, come out of the lunge slightly as you round the upper back. Let's just do one more like that. It's kind of a balance challenge as well. Good. Inhale, come back to this position. We're going to come into our side bend. So left hand to the left hip and take that side bend. You can keep the head cradling in that hand like we did before, or maybe you extend the right arm out. Big breath. Maybe place the left hand to the floor to a block for one more big reach. And coming all the way forward, framing the front foot. Let's shift back to our half splits. You can keep this left leg bent. And lately I've been enjoying flexing the left foot and imagining you're actively pulling the left heel towards you. So it helps make it a little bit more active of a stretch. Good. Roll back through that foot and let's find a downward facing dog. If you're not feeling downward dog just yet, you can take a child's pose. Do what you need to do for yourself today to get your body and your mind in a good place. Good. Let's drop the knees back to our tabletop. And we'll get ready and do that whole sequence on the other side. So this time the right knee starts to circle, keeping the shoulders and the hips level, and just exploring that range of motion, actively squeezing the glute. Careful you're not leaning over to the left. I know I get guilty of that. And reverse the circle. So it might be nice to think about pressing through the right palm. Keep breathing. Awesome work. We're going to stretch out that right leg, place the toes down, and just rock forward and back a little bit into that ankle. And when you're ready, turning the hips to the right side of your mat, turning the left shin, and reaching the right arm up. Good. This is where we can squeeze the hips and maybe go into a little baby back bend. Press the hips forward, lean the chest and the heart back. Reaching the right arm high. Maybe you bend the right elbow. Nice, good morning stretch. Awesome. Let's ground through the right foot, round through center, and we'll come to stand on the left knee now. Coming into gate pose, we reach to the back of the mat. Side bending the other way. Big inhale up through center. And this time we plant the left hand down under the left shoulder and we keep the core nice and engaged. So not letting our back arch, and right hand on the right hip. Then we do our lower and lifts with the right glute. So it's really important to not let the back arch here, because then we will be using the quad to lift the leg. But if you keep the low belly scooping and the ribs in, it really isolates the glute and the outside of the right leg. Whew. One more. Then we'll come to center, turn the left toes back in, and bring the right foot up and outside of the shoulders for our lizard lunge to start. You can externally rotate that right foot and just feel that good stretch in the right glute. Working on those glutes today. On your next inhale, heel toe the right foot back to center. And inhale, lifting the arms up, Anjaneyasana. Let those hands kiss together and then fall to the back of the neck. This time you might think of interlacing your hands the more unusual way, so the opposite way feels good, and then open out through the elbows. Inhale, expand the chest, and exhale, scoop the belly, come out of your low lunge, round the upper body. Inhale, sink the hips, lift the gaze, and exhale, drop the head, drop the tailbone. One more like that. Good. Next time you're Expanding, go ahead and bring the right hand to the hip and side, bend over to the right. So you're feeling nice and long from the left arm through the left side waist, all the way through that hip flexor. Maybe you extend the left arm. Maybe you bring the right hand to the ground. Nice deep stretch. One more breath in. And exhale, frame the foot with the hands. Shift back, half splits. Our hamstrings are nice and warm now, so give them a good stretch here. Make sure you're breathing. And roll back through that foot. Let's take a downward facing dog, everybody. We'll meet here. And we're just going to take 3 nice little ripples to plank. So we inhale, ripple forward to plank. Exhale, bend the knees first, and then shift the hips high, downward dog. 2 more like that. Inhale, roll forward. Exhale, hips lift, downward facing dog. This time we're going to inhale forward to plank, and exhale lower to the belly. Good. We're going to take a little variation of cobra with the fingertips on the ground outside of your mat. Using those glutes again in this cobra, so just explore what it feels like to squeeze the glutes in order to lengthen the tailbone towards the heels. Ground those arches of the feet down so that this is really coming from the upper body as we inhale, cobra, lifting up, and exhale down. Maybe you just go halfway up, breathe in, and back down. One more. Roll the shoulders back. And exhale, release. Let's take a child's pose. Awesome work, everybody. 2 deep breaths here. On your next inhale, coming back to your downward facing dog. And we'll walk the feet towards the hands, forward fold. Really soften the knees to start and kind of sway side to side. So you might feel your IT bands or your low back just releasing. An option to continue the swaying motion as you slowly rise up. So feeling that sway as you slowly come to standing. Once you're at the top of your mat in mountain pose, go ahead and close the eyes. And just shift your weight forward and back on the feet and side to side a little bit. And notice where your weight is shifting. And try to find that middle place where your head is stacking over your shoulders and spine and your hips are stacking over your feet. Then we're going to inhale, reach the arms up. Grab the right wrist with the left wrist with the right hand and take a side bend over to the right. Big inhale to come back up to center. And exhale, other way. Big side stretch. Awesome. Inhale back to center. Exhale, release the hands down. We're going to interlace the hands behind the back. Roll the shoulders back. Soften the knees as we fold forward. Think about leading with the chest. Really big bend in the knees, almost like you're going to a chair pose. So maybe let's take a chair pose to start. So really bend those knees. Pull those wrists back. Feel that opening in the chest. And then melt it all the way down. Hands reach away from the low back. Relax the back of the head and maybe start to stretch into the legs. Big breath. Slowly release the hands all the way to the mat, and we'll take a flow to downward dog. So step it back to your plank. Big breath in. Exhale, lower to the belly. Inhale, cobra. Good. Exhale, downward facing dog. Awesome job. This time we're going to take circles with the knee in downward facing dog. If this is too much, you can come back to the table. So the left knee starts to circle three-legged dog, making big circles, opening up through that hip. Reverse the circle when you're ready. And we'll step that left foot all the way up and through to our high lunge this time. You can come back to the low lunge if you need, otherwise rising up nice and strong. Inhale, the arms lift, hands kiss together. Exhale, bring the hands to the back of the neck. Interlace the hands. Inhale, same thing. Lift the heart. Exhale, round through. Maybe you soften through that back knee. One more. Inhale, expand. You've got this. Strong legs. Exhale, round through. This time we're going to inhale, expand, and open up warrior two. So ground that back foot and maybe reach the arms out. Warrior two. Squeeze into those glutes to open the hips. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, come all the way through to side angle. Reach that right arm up. Beautiful. From our side angle, we're going to sweep the right arm all the way down. Come to the back of the mat. Bend the right knee. Flex the left foot. And Skandasana, the back of the mat. Opening up through those inner thighs. Awesome work. We're going to curl our way all the way back to the front of the mat. Frame the foot and step it back. Downward facing dog. Beautiful. Optional flow here. You can skip it or take a child's pose. We'll meet in our downward facing dog. Awesome job. Right knee is going to circle now. So we lift the right knee, three-legged dog, and just take some nice hip circles. One direction and then reverse. See if you can ground through that left heel. Open up through the right hip. When you're ready, step it all the way up to your lunge. Back knee lowered or lifted, depending on how you're feeling this morning. Do what you need to do for you to set you up for success today. Hands kiss together and take your tricep stretch. Good. Interlace your hands the awkward way. And inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, round through, maybe softening that back knee. One more. Inhale, expand. It's okay if you feel the wobbles. Exhale, curve. One more. Inhale. And exhale, warrior two. Awesome job. Feel that back foot ground. Inhale, reach it up and back, reverse. Exhale all the way through side angle. Big long line here. And then swoop this left hand around. Find the floor. You can use those hands to crawl your way. Left foot turns out, right foot flexes as we come down into our Skandasana. Big opening through the inner thighs. Awesome work. We crawl all the way back to the front. And stepping back to downward dog. Awesome job, everybody. Again, let's take an optional flow. Inhale forward. Exhale to the belly. Inhale, cobra. And exhale, downward dog. Beautiful work. Let's drop the knees. And we're going to take, just take a second to roll out the wrist. We're going to take tiger pose or half bow pose. It's a really great pose to open up through the chest. Nice big back bend, really energizing. And it really helps in the morning. For me, I love doing this pose in the morning because it helps me find a clear focus and energy. So looking forward as we do this, come to your tabletop. Let's start with the left leg. So lift the left knee, keep it nice and parallel. Then ground through the left hand. We're going to reach the right arm back. See if you can catch the the left ankle. Once you've got it, roll that right shoulder open and start to kick the foot into the hand. Still press into the right knee, into the left hand, and start to lift the gaze straight forward. Feel the connection hand to foot. It's okay if you're wobbling. Try to press in opposition, expanding through the chest, expanding through the back hip flexor, squeezing the glutes, and release it. Good. Let's take a cat pose. So just round the belly. Awesome work. We're going to take that on the other side. This time the right foot kicks up. We ground through the right hand. We reach the left hand back. Try to find that foot. And then push the foot into the hand and extend, looking straight forward. If you can't grab the foot, this is a good place to strengthen with both hands down, pressing the right heel up to the sky. And let's release it. Take your cat, round it through, and then crossing at the ankles, go ahead and take a nice comfortable seat. Awesome work, everybody. We're just going to take a couple stretches and then we'll be ready for a nice meditation or shavasana. Let's lengthen the legs out in front of us and hug the left knee into the chest. You can bring the left foot inside of the right knee, or you can cross it over. It's really a personal preference. And then the right arm is going to wrap around the left knee, pulling the knee to the chest, and then the chest spirals back to the back of the mat. Left hand can plant. Big twist to ring out after that back bend. Try to feel your breath slowing down in this twist. Awesome. Coming back to center. From here, we're going to take a half Gomukrasana. So you're going to cross the left leg over the right leg, seeing however far you can cross the thighs. It might be here. It might be all the way knees stacking over each other. And from here, you might already be feeling this a lot already. It does not take a lot to just fold forward a couple inches and then relax the upper body down. Big hamstring stretch through the right leg. Nice opening through the left glute after all of our strengthening we did in the legs. One more big breath. And slowly coming up. Lengthen out the left leg, and we'll just repeat that on the other side. So right knee comes into the chest, chest to the knee. We wrap the left arm around. Sit up nice and tall as we twist back, maybe planting the right hand behind you. No tension in the shoulders. See if you can relax the shoulders away from the ears. And let the breath slow down. Slowly coming back to center. We cross the right leg over the left. This side might feel a lot different, so just be mindful on your knees. And slowly folding forward any amount on this side. Rounding the upper body. Again, letting that breath slow down. Slowly pressing yourself back up. Shake out the legs. And we're going to come all the way down onto our backs for a nice shavasana to finish. You can take instead of shavasana, if you want, you can take a supta baddha konasana or a reclined butterfly. Sometimes I like to do this instead of Shavasana in the morning. I find it really opening. Otherwise, you can lengthen the legs out. Wherever you are, notice how you feel compared to when we began practice. You might feel a little more energized. You might have a little more clarity. You might feel a little more connected to the body. You might have felt the cobwebs clear from the foggy mind. Let's take 3 more deep breaths in our Shavasana together. While you're here laying on your back, you might set an intention for the rest of your day. Moving forward, a feeling or a purpose that you want to carry through your day. And with that, we'll start to find some movement. Hug the knees to the chest and roll onto either side, pressing yourself up to a comfortable seat. Awesome job showing up for yourself this morning. Thank you so much for practicing with me, and I hope to see you back here on my YouTube channel.